Good morning. Today we're tackling a controversial topic. It's so controversial. I've actually already gotten comments before this live stream started. So we're gonna jump in. Tackle. I'm gonna tackle those comments and why this is such a controversial topic. But if you've ever heard the phrase "Don't be the smartest person in the room," or maybe you've heard the quote, "If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room." If you've heard either one of those, then please know that is some of the worst career advice you can receive. And today I'm going to talk about why listening to that advice is one of the biggest mistakes you can make in your career. But as you can see on the screen, we're counting down the top 50 career tips to help you succeed in any role, and this is number 41. And you guys know I get very energetic about these topics. This is another one I get very energetic about because I truly think people telling you not to be the smartest person in the room is truly hurting your career. Look, let's be honest. If someone's telling you not to be the smartest person in the room, they're telling you to hide your intelligence, hide your expertise, and hide your knowledge. And this morning, I'm here to tell you we're in a knowledge economy. Your knowledge, your expertise, they matter. It's what's setting you apart from everyone else. Your knowledge, your expertise are your differentiators. And I say we're in a knowledge economy because I was just reading this morning about more layoffs, perhaps a coming recession. Your knowledge and your expertise are what you bring to the table in addition to your personal value. So I don't buy into the notion not to be the smartest person in the room. I don't buy into the notion that if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room because you're expected to have that knowledge and expertise. And so this morning, let me just address the critics before I get into the how and why to be the smartest person in the room. So I get it. Look, experts say if you're the smartest person in the room, you're likely to raise your hand more. You're likely to talk too much. You're likely to be disruptive. Here's what I say to those critics. And listen, Google this topic. Every article that comes up says don't be the smartest person in the room. Don't speak up. And it tells you all the reasons why you shouldn't do something. It doesn't tell you. I found one article, one other person who said, yes, actually, you should be the smartest person in the room. So here's what I say to those critics and to those experts and why this is a controversial topic. What I say to them is that is a stereotype. If you have someone in a meeting who is dominating the meeting, you as the leader, pull them aside and say, look, I love your energy. I love your knowledge. I love that you're prepared for these meetings. But do me a favor. Hang back a little bit, make one comment, and then, let your other colleagues jump in. That's a perfectly fine explanation to have versus every expert for the last 5 or 7 years saying, don't be the smartest person in the room because we're dumbing down our workforce. And I know that's harsh, but I challenge those experts that they're really painting with a broad brush to say, don't do this because it's going to hurt your career. Actually, you were hired to bring your knowledge and expertise with you to those conversations. So I challenge the controversialness of this topic to say, ignore those critics, ignore those experts. Not everybody is going to be the one who raises their hand. And look, you have friends in your life, you have colleagues at work. If you're in school, you know the person who literally is jumping out of their chair to raise their hand because they love the sound of their own voice. That is not about being the smartest person in the room. That is about people who have zero self regulation, who just want to talk all the time and want their point of view known. I think the painting with a broad brush and the stereotyping of the workforce is really bad in this situation, and it's why I say that there is a bad piece of advice. See, I'm getting worked up. My hands are going everywhere. I'm hitting my desk. I just this topic just really is one that resonates with me. So let's talk about the how and the why. Why you want to be the smartest person in the room and how you can be that person. And look, take off the label. Maybe it's not the smartest person in the room, but why you should always be prepared. Maybe that's a better way to say it. The reason why you want to be that person in the room is you want to be prepared. You want to walk in with a working knowledge of the topic that's being discussed. I don't care if you're on an assembly line and you're your line manager, your shift manager pulls you aside and asks you a question, you want to be the person who provides that answer. You want to be the person with that knowledge and expertise. And let me tell you how it played out in my career as an example. You guys have heard me say when I left Congress and went to corporate America working for Dunkin' Brands, I didn't have any restaurant industry experience and I didn't have any business experience. But I knew that I brought hard work and discipline to the table and I would learn it. So you've heard me say before, and I'll say it again. I sat in meetings every day. I had no clue what those people were talking about. Zero. But I took pages and pages of notes. And I went home at night, my dog sitting beside me, and I studied those notes. And I studied those terms and I looked them up and I did the hard work, not to be the smartest person, but to be the most prepared person. To be the most prepared person in the room, to be able to engage in conversation, to bring my expertise and my knowledge to the table to inform conversations. That is why you're hired. That is why you're there. So the why you want to be the most prepared, the smartest person in the room is because you want to set that expectation that you belong at that table and in those conversations. When you're quiet, when you're dumbing down your intelligence, it comes across as though you're not interested, as perhaps you're not engaged. And that is the absolute wrong message to send as well. Now for the how. How to be the smartest person in the room? Well, I just gave you the example of how I did it, and you will find your own way as well. But the how is to constantly read about your industry, your job, your company. If you're in a public company, you should be listening to earnings calls. You should be reading earnings transcripts. You should know what's going on in every part of your business. If you're in a role that is a very specific, perhaps subject matter driven role, you need to be the expert on that role. And you do that by putting in the time and the hard work to be that person so that when you're asked your opinion, when you're at the table and you want to express your opinion based on your expertise, then you're up to date on the latest information and you can bring that knowledge forward. And I'm going to say it again. We're in a knowledge economy. We have been and we continue to be for the foreseeable future. Your knowledge, your expertise, bringing that forward in conversations, engaging with that knowledge and expertise is your differentiator. And it's important that you bring that knowledge. So if you want to be the smartest person in the room, I'm okay with that. I want you to be, and I want to be that person as well because it makes for a better dialogue. It makes for a better decision making process. It makes for better strategic conversations. And I know in my career, while I started out not knowing anything about the restaurant industry or business, after doing my homework, after being that engaged person, after coming to the table with ideas and my knowledge and my expertise, then I was very quickly recognized at Dunkin' and subsequent roles as being a leader. Even at Dunkin', I was selected as one of 10 people in the entire public company to sit in a room for 2 days and chart the strategy for the company for the next 3 to 5 years. They brought together the brightest thinkers in the company to say, if we charge you with our strategy for the next 3 to 5 years, what would you say? And we sat in a room for 2 days and did that. What a phenomenal experience. But do you think I would have had that opportunity had I not been prepared, had I not done my homework, had I not been the person in the room who knew the topics and was willing to speak up and do the work? So, smartest person, most prepared person, you fill in the label. My point is do not hide your expertise and your knowledge because someone is telling you that's not the way you're supposed to be. Don't listen to the old adages that you're the smartest person in the room is a bad thing. Don't listen to those folks because I think those are outdated, stereotypical notions that are doing nothing but harm in your career. So I challenge you this morning be the smartest person in the room. It's okay. I'd rather you be the smartest person in the room and excel in this knowledge economy than to sit there and wonder what happened when everyone else is getting the promotions and the raises and the recognition and you're not in that group. Bring that knowledge to the table, bring that hard work, bring your expertise, and you will put those old notions to rest and you will learn. Trust me on this. And listen, if you want to talk about this further, there's a link to my calendar. Let's grab 10 or 15 minutes and talk through how this is playing out right now. Because I would submit your knowledge, even if you're part of the layoffs right now, or even if you get caught up in this recessionary environment. Your knowledge and your expertise is what's going to find you the next role. So let's talk about how that plays out. Let's talk about how you can show up right now in your role, in your current role in this knowledge economy, the most prepared, the most knowledgeable, and how that's going to further your career in ways you can't even imagine. Oh, I got a little free with my fingers there. I see a lot of comments are coming in. I may have touched a nerve. So let me go back and look at some of the comments. Let me just bring these up a little higher, guys, so everybody can see them. Thanks for being here with me this morning. I clearly am a little worked up about this topic. I think you all might be worked up about this topic as well. Look, I mean, this is one of those where I could talk for hours and just say, please, please, please don't listen to the people who don't know what they're talking about. But okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox and I'm going to look at my college. Wow, wow, there are a lot of folks here this morning. Hey, let me give a shout out real quick to everybody. This is Landon. Landon is on LinkedIn this morning. He's over in YouTube. He's helping me moderate the comments and real time chat so that you don't forget to follow me, so that you don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you're on YouTube, jump over there and smash that like button. So Landon's in the comments moderating this morning. So Landon, thanks for being here. Brandy, appreciate your comments and you being here. Mr. Prouty is here as well. He did a live last week where he said, be the smartest person in the room and the richest person. And listen, that is a theory I can get on board with. Um, so Eileen's here this morning. Eileen, good morning. Eileen says, in this competitive marketplace, always showcase your expertise. That is why you have a seat at the table. Listen, I'm gonna give a big old double amen and thumbs up to that one, Eileen. I could not agree. I could not agree more. So I was kind of surprised even when I started getting comments last night that, hey, I don't agree with you, Cicely. Listen, Eileen specializes in helping people get hired, get hired rapidly. Her track records are 100%, and you're hearing her say the same thing this morning. In a competitive marketplace, your expertise is what you bring to the table. So, Eileen, I appreciate that you agree and feel the same. And hey, don't forget, like Landon says, smash that like button and subscribe because we want to make sure you guys are getting all of these tips delivered directly to you. Good morning, Leanne. I missed your live this morning. I apologize, but I'm grateful that you're here. Always be prepared. Exactly right. Thank you, Leanne. Thank you for echoing those comments and agreeing. And hey, look, if there's somebody in the comments who doesn't agree, let's have that conversation. Somebody may be here this morning watching. I know some of you watch and you don't. I know some of you watch and you don't necessarily, comment. If you disagree with me, listen, grab time on my calendar. Let's talk about it. Hit me in the comments right now. Send me a message or comment on LinkedIn or YouTube. Let's talk about it. One reason why I love being prepared for meetings, I love being prepared, I love doing the work is because I want to engage in strategic, thoughtful, back and forth conversation. I love when people challenge me in meetings. I love when people challenge me because they've done the work and the knowledge. They have the expertise to kind of challenge what I'm thinking. That makes for better decision making. So Leanne's exactly right. Chris says you were hired to bring expertise by holding back and not contributing one is being selfish. And Chris, I quote you often on that comment, so I'm glad you made that this morning. I love that you're addressing the root cause of the smartest person stereotype instead of buying into the broad bandwagon statement. Chris, you know me, I'm always challenging the status quo. We actually did that video last Monday. I will link to that below. I I just think the stereotypes, Chris, are hurting people. I think we listen to the masses, and the masses are not always right, right? So I'm glad, Chris, to hear you echo that. That is Landon telling you guys to send me a follow request or a connection request. Jump in. I'd love for you to follow me and connect with me. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Leanne says, I feel about feeling like you don't know what's going on. I feel you. Okay, I feel you about feeling like you don't know what's going. You didn't know what was going on. I got you, Leanne. Thank you for jumping in. Great topic, Melissa. Thank you for being here. Randy says it seems like there are two steps: being the smartest person in the room and being confident to portray the smarts to others in the room. Randy, I think that's true. I think there are two parts to that. The smartest person in the room, and we tend to think of the smartest person in the room as being in a large conversation. I would argue if you're in a one on one with your boss, your preparation, your knowledge, your expertise is just as important. So whether it's a large room where you're in a meeting or if it's a one on one conversation, I think that speaks to the confidence piece that Randy just mentioned. Don't be scared to, if you've done the work and you've prepared, don't be scared to show that to others, whether it's a one-on-one conversation or whether you're in a room full of folks. That's why you're in that room. That's why you're at that table. As Eileen said earlier, Chris also chimes in again: knowledge and the ability to leverage that knowledge to have impact is key in standing out in the sea of chaos. And Chris, we talked about this on Monday, turning chaos into opportunity. I think we are in a sea of chaos right now. I mean, I wake up every morning, I do my homework. What's going on in the political world? What's going on in the economic world? What do I need to know today to serve my clients well and to serve all of you well? And I do believe we're in a time of absolute and complete chaos, which is why I did the video on Monday. Again, I'll link to it below. Challenge status quo thinking right now. You've got to turn chaos into opportunity. And I just read something this morning about the numbers of people who think they're going to be caught up in a recession or laid off. Listen, folks, I'm going to tell you, jump on my calendar if you want to have that conversation. I am going to jump back up and say, reach out to Eileen if you think you're going to be that person. One of us will be able to help you. And as I said on Monday, Chris is the guy if you're thinking of starting your own business. But I do think there's a lot of truth to what Chris is saying about this sea of chaos. How are you preparing right now? I would argue, I think others in the chat say, it's your advice and your expertise and your knowledge. That's what's going to set you apart in this sea of chaos. Embrace it, hang on to it, leverage it. There is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with any of those. Yes, Melissa, you're right. You got to own that expertise and that knowledge. Leanne, I love that comment. Old advice, old ways of thinking will absolutely hold you back. I couldn't agree more. I absolutely could not agree more. I got to be honest with you. I was kind of disappointed when I start, because I always research topics before I bring it to you guys. I want to make sure I'm bringing you the latest greatest information as well. I was disappointed that literally I could go back 7 to 10 years and every single article on this topic is old advice, outdated advice. They're lumping everybody together as though speaking up is a bad thing, preparing is a bad thing, being the smartest person in the room is a bad thing. So Leanne, you're right. That old advice is going to hold us back. Chris jumps in, sharing the other Chris. There are two Chris's. Chris Rivera says sharing that knowledge and expertise can open up opportunities for speaking, presenting, podcasting, network. Chris, you've got it all right there in your comment. That is spot on. The opportunities that will come your way from demonstrating your knowledge and expertise, you can't even begin to fathom what those will be. But I can tell you one thing: if you sit there quiet and you dumb down your intelligence and you hide your expertise, you're not going to get those opportunities. And that is just about as honest as I can be with you guys this morning. So listen to what Chris is saying. The opportunities will abound because people want to be around smart people. We all want to be around people who make us better. So why shy away from that? Embrace it, own it, leverage it, as Melissa just said. As Leanne just said, don't listen to everybody who's trying to hold you back. I'm getting worked up again, so I'm not going to get on my soapbox. I'm going to bring it down a couple of levels. The coffee is finally kicking in this morning. Okay, good to know. Great advice and something I told my interns all the time. Well, I tell you what, Leanne, I am sharing this advice with Landon, who's interning with me right now. I'm glad he's here to hear this morning. There he is. There's that face jumping on screen this morning about, yeah, the knowledge and expertise and how do you build that knowledge and then how do you demonstrate it. So Leanne, I appreciate that. I am following in your footsteps with not only sharing my knowledge and expertise with all of you who want career help, but with Landon, who is seeking to get into the world of public policy as well. And look, I've been blessed with a long career and a long body of knowledge. And now, if I can share that with all of you, I'm happy to do so. But listen, I know some of you guys are going to have questions about this. So the link to my calendar is right there, right? Connect.cicely.me. Jump on my calendar. Let's talk about it for a few minutes. But a lot of you are also signing up for my career newsletter. It's free. I give you free advice every Thursday morning. I'm sorry, Thursday afternoon. Thursday mornings, you get me here live. Thursday afternoons, you get a free career newsletter. So, um, Eileen appreciates the shout out. You're welcome. There you go, folks. There you go. That's how you grab time on her calendar. If you're wondering about what to do about this recession, if you're wondering how to prepare, if you want time on my calendar, my link is right there, connect.cicely.me. So I hope you, as you watch the replay, a lot of you do, listen to these comments in the chat. I mean, these folks are experts in their field. They don't hide from their expertise. They're certainly not trying to dumb down their intelligence to fit some old stereotype that career experts long ago have said, oh, don't be the smartest person in the room. If you're the smartest person, you're in the wrong room. Nothing can be further from the truth. So if you don't remember anything we say this morning, these comments, please know that your knowledge and your expertise are part of the value proposition in your personal brand that you bring to the table. It is so critical that you continue to be the smartest person, the most prepared, the most knowledgeable. Whatever label you want to use, don't shy away. Don't shy away from engaging in those conversations. Don't shy away from bringing your knowledge and expertise to the table. And I'm going to say it again. We're in a knowledge economy. How are you demonstrating your knowledge and expertise? That, my friends, is the question you have to answer.